Hello, hello, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Today, we're going to be talking about the ABCs of investing, part two. Okay, part two. Okay, so we did have a part one. If you missed it, I will be posting the link in the chat shortly. Okay, probably afterwards. Probably later. What happened to my phone? Okay, yeah. I will be sharing the link for the first one right in the comments. So let's get right into this. Okay, so what is the reason for me doing this live? Right? Why go back to the basics? Well, to be honest with you, right? These are some of the three main problems that I see that beginner investors run into. Okay. As you guys are coming in, I'm just explaining why I decided to go live on this topic. Okay. So, beginner investors go under these three things. Number one, they have a lack of investment quality, right? Clarity. What does that mean exactly, right? They are overwhelmed. Beginner investors are overwhelmed by the amount of information that's out there, right? There's this YouTuber who's saying, hey, do this one thing. There's this TikToker that's saying, do this other thing. There's this other guru that's saying, do this. No, do that. No, do life insurance. No, 401ks are bad. No, do stock options. Oh, do stocks. Oh, do crypto. Crypto sucks. Do this, do that. And it's so much information that you're like, I don't know where to get started, right? Who do I listen to? Who's right? Who's wrong? Well, this is why I decided to do this live. Number two, another thing that I see that beginner investors go through is that they are afraid of losing money, right? There are some people where they're like, you know what, Kat, there's a lot of noise out there, but I know that I at least want to get into stocks. Although people are saying do crypto and do this and do that and do passive income and this little gimmick that's going to make me rich in 5 days, right? And people are telling me to do all those things. All I want to do is buy some stocks, but I'm afraid to lose money. I'm afraid to buy the wrong stock. Type in a 2 in the chat if that resonates, right? Type in a 2 in the chat if that resonates. Those of you who are just coming in, I was actually I was told by my coach, as soon as you go live, you need to literally get into it, because people's attention spans are like this, right? So you want to go into the material. So sorry if I didn't even introduce myself or anything. I'm just going into the material. Don't worry, I'm going to do that, but you guys can trickle in, okay? So the third thing, hi there. So the third thing that I see that beginner investors go through is that some beginner investors have been investing on their own, but they have not seen the type of returns that they want to see. Type in the 2 in the chat if that's you, right? Some of the beginner investors out there will watch some YouTube videos, will watch a guru, and the guru will say, hey, go buy X, Y, and Z stock. And then they go buy it, and they go buy this, and they buy this crypto, but nothing's really happening, right? Their investments are just kind of like lackluster. Like, you know, it went up at one point, but there's no consistency. They don't see consistent growth. They don't see the $1 million that everybody and their mom is talking about, right? And so this is the reason why I'm doing this live, right? I'm doing the live because a lot of you out there are interested in investing. As a matter of fact, a lot of you out there want to invest. Forget about interested. Interested means like there's still maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, right? A lot of you are ready to start investing, but there's so much information out there. This person's saying 401ks are evil. Kat is telling me about 401ks. This other person is telling me life insurance is evil. This other person is telling me life insurance is the best. This other person is telling me that crypto's the future. This person's telling me to stick to stocks, right? That's why you're here, right? And the second thing is that you're afraid to lose money. And the third thing is that you are not seeing results. So this live is meant to address all of these different things that I listed. Okay, so now that you guys are here, hello, welcome everyone. Those of you who are watching live, go ahead and type in live in the comments, all right? Tell me, where are you watching from? You're watching from Florida, from New York, from Boston. I just signed a client from Miami. I was like, wait a minute, you're right next door. It's always surprising when I get someone from my hometown, like from South Florida, because it's like, what? I get clients from all over the world. So it's like, you're right next door. I could come see you. Anyways, tell me, where are you watching from? I don't see any comments. Come on, guys. You gotta give me some feedback, some comments. Give me some energy. Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. So ABCs of investing. Now let's review a little bit about what we talked about in the first live, right? In the first live, we really talked about what is the difference between investing, saving, and trading. Okay. So first we talked about saving. We talked about how savings. Hello there. Hey, Amy, how are you? How are you? Live from Atlanta. I see you, Queen. I see you. Yes. Right. And so sorry, I just got sidetracked. So the first live, part one, we talked about investing versus savings versus trading. And we talked about savings. What is the purpose of saving? Anybody was in that first live? Talk to me in the chat. What is the purpose of savings? We talked about in the part one, we talked about the purpose of savings is safety, right? You are keeping your money safe for emergency, for opportunities, right? For a peace of mind. Guys, don't be afraid to save money just to have a peace of mind. You don't have, here's the thing. When I first started my journey, my financial wellness journey, my investing journey, I always had to have a reason to save. If I didn't have a reason to save, I was swiping, throwing money at everything. Oh, it's okay. I'll make the money back. Money's abundant and money's this and money's that. Yes, money's abundant and money comes to you easily. Yes, but we also want to treat this energy with respect. Just like you treat your electricity with respect. You don't go around putting your finger inside the little hole in the wall because you might get electrocuted, right? You are respecting the energy of electricity, right? You don't go touch a hot stove because you might burn yourself. You are respecting the energy of heat. So money is the same thing. Money is energy. So we must show that energy respect. And how do we show it respect? There are many ways to do so. Through gratitude, through structure, right? Through discipline. And so savings allows you to build that muscle, to be grateful that you have extra money, more than you need, right? To be disciplined enough to say no to certain things, right? And to say yes to you and your future self, right? And it also gives you a peace of mind. Don't be afraid to just save for a peace of mind. That was the original point I was making. Okay? Don't be afraid to just save for a peace of mind. Think about it. How would you walk differently if you had $50,000 saved in the bank? Think about that for a second. How would you think differently? How would you speak differently? How would you make decisions differently if you had $50,000 sitting in the bank? You can pay any bills with it. You can get out of any emergency with it. You can buy any property, put down on a down payment on any investment property, because you're not going to go pay $500,000 for your first investment property. I hope not. Okay. Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm not the real estate guru, but I wouldn't do that for an investment property. Okay. All right. But anyways, not your first one. Okay. Anyways. I got off track. Let me not even touch that subject, okay? Right? Think about how different life would be in general. Think about all the other people that would affect if you had $50,000 in the bank. Some of you are like, well, Kat, been there, done that. As a matter of fact, I got $70,000. And what, right? Well, how would it feel if you had $250,000? A true story. Did you know that when I worked at a wealth management firm, I worked for NPC Financial? Okay, it's a wealth management firm in South Florida. Did you know that the ideal client had $250K cash ready to be invested? That was the ideal client. Anybody who had $250K. And as a matter of fact, you wanted them to have more than that because that was the bare minimum. Most of the clients we were looking to work with had $3 million, $5 million in cash ready to invest with. And so when I talk to you about the ABCs of investing and I talk to you about savings, right? People don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear I got to save. What do you mean I got to save? I just want to multiply my money, Kat. What stock should I buy? What investment should I buy? How do I multiply this $100 I got? You can multiply $100 all you want. It's probably going to give you a few thousand, but it's not going to give you $1 million. And so in order to get to those millions, we must learn how to manage what the money we have right now. How can you expect to learn how to manage $1 million if you can't manage the money you have right now? It's not happening. I'm sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. As a matter of fact, I'm not sorry, because you need to hear this, because I wish someone had told me this. I wouldn't have wasted so much time swiping, and putting everybody else first except myself. Okay, I'm preaching now. Let's move on. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about today. Oh, sorry, I didn't finish reviewing. Last one. We talked about savings. The second thing we talked about was investing. What is the purpose of investing? The purpose of investing is to multiply your money. Someone in the chat type in multiply your money. Everybody with me? Type in a 7 if you're with me. I don't want to lose you, okay? Investing is to multiply your money. Saving is to protect your money, is to keep your money safe. Investing is to multiply your money, okay? And then trading is to create cash flow. Create cash flow now. Create extra cash that you can use to supplement your income. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're like, Kat, tell me more, go ahead and watch the first part, okay? So now let's talk about part 2. Today we're going to talk about 3 things. We're going to talk about assets. Somebody in the chat write assets, okay? We're going to talk about assets. We're going to talk about managing risk, right? Managing risk. Investing involves risk. The very definition of investing is taking on some sort of a risk. You are putting money on this risky thing, and because it may work, you're willing to take the risk. And when it does work, you multiply your money. But there's also the flip side where you could lose money. And so we must understand, how much am I willing to lose, right? So we'll talk about that. Number 3, we're going to talk about setting clear investment goals. And I don't mean, I want to be financially free. That is not a clear investment goal. That is a wish. That is something you slap on a vision board, and then December 31st comes around, that vision board is collecting dust, and none of that stuff came true. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Maybe 2 things came true. All right? Power of vision boards. You've never done a vision board like I do. I'm actually going to have a vision board exercise for New Year's. Stay tuned for that. Okay? All right, so let's get into it. Number 1, assets. Can somebody in the chat tell me, what is an asset? What is an asset? While you guys are typing, I'm going to talk about what is the importance of assets in your investing journey. Okay? Assets are the building blocks of an investment portfolio. Write this into your notes. Assets are the building blocks of an investment portfolio. So, Kat, what is an asset? An asset is anything that can be turned into cash. That's the best way I can explain it. Okay? Anything that either increases in value over time or can be converted into cash. Somebody write that in the comments. My note takers, any note takers in here? An asset is anything that can be converted into cash or that increases in value. Somebody, I see some examples. What are some examples of assets? Someone, Facebook user wrote house. Absolutely, right? Real estate. Okay, a house is a real physical estate. And then you have the land. They're 2 different things. The house is one thing, the land is the other. They're both assets, okay? Beautiful. Next, gold, absolutely. Cars is tricky. I'm going to come back to that one. Cars is a little bit tricky. Facebook user says, everything that you own and can be turned into cash. Oh yeah, you just wrote what I said. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Gold, right? Okay, beautiful. Cash is an asset. Yes. I love it, right? Cash is an asset. So I'm going to write some examples for you, okay? Number 1, stocks. Hello. Stock is ownership. When you buy a stock, you are buying a piece of a company. Number 2, bonds, right? Bonds are you lending money to the government or a corporation, and the government is paying you interest every month. How many of you, type in a 7 in the chat if you have student loans? Type in a 7 in the chat if you have student loans. If you have student loans, imagine being on the other side of that. Imagine being the one that's collecting all those payments. That's a lot of money, right? That's good money. Okay. And so you can actually do that. That is a type of investment. There are many ways to do so. One way is through a bond. Okay. We'll talk about that in another live. Real estate, we talked about that. Cash, somebody said it. Hello, cash is cash already. I don't even need to turn it into cash. It's already cash. Okay. Beautiful. Collectibles, such as paintings, baseball cards, antiques, anything that grows in value. Right? So when I sit down with my clients, I have a very, very simple worksheet that I do with my clients where they just plug and play. All right. They just plug and play. And one of the lines in my sheet that calculates your net worth, right, is jewelry and collectibles. And believe it or not, I'm going to tell you a story. One of my clients, she had this tea set that was given to her by her grandmother, right? She had this tea set, had sentimental value. She got this tea set. And while we were doing this exercise, I told her, do you have any jewelry or collectibles or any antiques or anything like that? And she was like, you know what, Kat, now that you mention it, I have this tea set that my grandmother gave to me. I'm going to go look around and see how much it's worth. Guys, guess what? How much that tea set is worth? This tea set is worth $5,000. Now pause. You might be thinking to yourself, well, Kat, that's not life-changing money. It ain't life-changing money, but if you're starting your investments and you're asking yourself, where am I going to get money to start my investments? I'm not saying she's going to go sell her teapot or her tea set, but you have money lying around your house and you probably don't even know it, okay? So now she knows if she ever gets into any complete emergency, right? Because that's a sentimental value. She's probably never going to sell it, but knowing that it has value, right, gives you that peace of mind. That is added to her net worth. Now imagine if she had a Haitian painting or Caribbean or an African painting or any type of painting that grandma gave her or auntie gave her, and imagine if that painting was worth $100K. Right? And so guys, don't underestimate the things that you may have in your house. They may have value. Okay. All right. Beautiful. All right. I have bonds too. Beautiful, beautiful. Designer bags. Yes. I love it. Designer bags. Believe it or not, designer bags, some of them, watches. I forgot to put watches, right? Designer bags and watches, they go up in value. And yes, they get added to your net worth. And yes, you can leverage them to make investments. More on that later. Okay. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Number 2, we're going to talk about managing risk. Any questions on assets? Write them in the chat. Any questions on assets? Okay. So these are the different types of assets. All right. So when we're talking about the ABCs of investing, what was the point of me mentioning assets, right? You want to put yourself in a position to accumulate assets. That's how you build wealth. Type in a 5 in the chat. If you're with me, type in a 0 if I lost you. Okay. The way that you build wealth is through acquiring assets. The more assets I have, the more wealthy I am. Somebody write that in the chat. The more assets I have, the more wealthy I have. The more wealthy I am. If I want to increase my wealth, I want to increase my assets. If I want to increase my wealth, I need to increase my assets. What are some assets I can add to my portfolio? Stocks, bonds, real estate, blah, antiques, blah, blah, blah. You guys get it? Type in a 5 if you get it. I only got 1 5. I hope you didn't lose me on that one, okay? So the way to increase your wealth is to increase your assets. The more assets you have, the more wealthy you are. Well, Kat, how do I add more assets? You can add more bonds, more stocks, more real estate, more antiques, more jewelries, more tea sets, more paintings, more beer, more wine, more cash. However you want to add it, the more you add, the more assets you have, the bigger your wealth. Okay. Number 2, managing risk. This is important. I tell my students this all the time. You are not an investor. You are a risk manager. Someone in the chat, one of my note takers, type it in the chat, risk manager. Okay. I am not an investor. I am a risk manager. Yes, you are an investor. I'm just, it's just a wordplay, right? But you are a risk manager, right? Why? Because the very definition of investing involves taking on some sort of risk. And so if I know that the minute I step into the investing world, I am taking on a risk. Wouldn't it be in my best interest to know how to manage that risk? Type in a 2 in the chat if that made sense. Right? Wouldn't it be in my best interest to understand how to maneuver risk, how to manage risk, if I know that risk is inevitable? It is part of the journey. So why not learn how to manage it? Right? And so that is why managing risk is so important in investing. Okay. And so, Kat, how do I manage risk? Step number 1, you need to know your risk tolerance. How much money are you willing to lose? If you lose $1,000, is that going to end your world? Is that going to devastate your life? If you lose $100,000, is that going to devastate your life? If you lose $100, is that going to devastate your life? Why am I even asking this? Well, here's what happens with beginner investors, right? They see something on the internet. They see some guru, all right? Kat, you're a guru. I don't like the word guru. I'm an investment professional. I'm not a guru. Let me stop, okay? You see some investment guru, that's not Kat. All right? And that okay, maybe it is Kat. Okay, let's just use Kat, right? You see an investment guru named Kat, and she says, oh, go do this and blah, 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 blah. And then you go and you take your $2,000 that you need to pay rent with, or that you need to buy this with, or you need to do this with, or it's the only $2,000 that you have, your whole savings, and then you go put it in the market, and then boom, the market crashes, and then you're like, where's my money? I need my money. Where's my money? You didn't manage your risk. Clearly, you couldn't afford to lose $2,000, so it had no business being in the stock market or the crypto market. God forbid any other market that's out there. Stock options, even worse, because it could go poof like that. Now, this is not to scare you, because clearly, if it was that scary, nobody would be, a lot of people are not. Actually, that's why a lot of people, maybe I shouldn't say it's scary. No, it's not scary. Investing is easy when you know what you're doing. Investing is easy when you know what you're doing. And knowing what you're doing involves knowing how to manage risk. You can't be an investor without knowing how to manage risk. So, Kat, how do I even do that? I'd like for you to look at your finances and ask yourself, how much money am I okay losing? And that will tell you how much money you're ready to start investing with. Voila. Okay? All right. Second thing I'll talk about risk management. The second thing is the way to cure, not cure. Yeah, I guess it's a problem. Okay. The way that you maneuver risk is to diversify. Notice I talked about different types of assets. Why would I only talk about stocks? I mean, that's my main bread and butter. Why even mention real estate? Why even mention paintings and antiques? Why even mention those things if I teach the stock market, right? Because you want to diversify. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, because when the market is crashing, guess what? Your real estate will still be paying you. When the real estate market is crashing, don't worry, your paintings are still here. Your wine is still gaining value. Your businesses are still making money. And so when one is not doing so well, another one comes and picks up the slack. Type in an 8 if that makes sense. Type in a 0 if I lost you. So if I have my money in different baskets, and one of the baskets is just not doing so well right now, it's just like, right now, it's okay. I've got 3 other baskets that are doing well. That is the point, right? That is the point of diversifying, so that when some investment is not doing well at the time, something else picks up the slack. Because here's what happens. When you put your investments all in that one thing, and that one thing is not working, you start to panic. You start to fear. You start to be like, and then you start making crazy decisions. And then you start to sabotage your investments. And then it's just downhill from there, right? So it's best to just diversify. Okay, number 3, we're going to talk about setting investment goals. Clear investment goals, okay? So what do I mean by clear investment goals? My note takers, write this in the chat. SMART goals. SMART. SMART. SMART goals, Okay? What do I mean by SMART goals? I wrote this in my notes. The goal needs to be specific. I want financial freedom is not specific. What does financial freedom look like? What type of things are you able to do when you are financially free? Well, Kat, I can spend more time with my son or my daughter. I can spend more time with my husband. I can spend more time with myself. I can travel the world. I can work less. I can explore my hobbies. I can explore my passions. Type in a 7 in the chat if you're with me, right? These are more specific goals. Financially free is not a goal. I'm sorry to say it. Okay? Number 2, measurable. Here we go, right? M, it needs to be measurable. The S is specific. The M is measurable. You need to be able to measure this. How much money do you need to be financially free? Think about it right now. If you were financially free, how much money would you need coming in every month? How much would you need every month? Some people it's something as simple as 5K a month. Some people it's 10K. Some people it's 40K. Please don't just throw a big number like 40. Well, that's really not that big because there's people making $1 million a month. So 40K in the grand scheme of things is really not that big. But for some people, it is much bigger than what they have right now. That's what I mean. Okay. And so you don't want to just slap on a huge number because it sounds nice. You want to be realistic with this. Like, do you really need $40,000 to be free? Or do you just need $8,000? Because it's a lot easier to become free at 8,000 than it is at 40. Not that it's impossible. It's not impossible, but it's going to take some work. And most people don't want to work. They're looking to work less. Okay? All right. So think about that. Number 2, A. So we got S, M, and then we have A. A is for achievable. Make sure that this is achievable. Don't just throw a big number. I had somebody say, oh, I want to make $1 million by the end of the year. Okay, cool, beautiful. You want to make $1 million? I have some clients, that's their goal as well. But those clients are already making $750K a year, $800K a year, $500,000 a year. And so $1 million is easy. It's right there. But if someone is barely making 30K, 40K a year, and they decide that they're going to make $1 million by the end of the year, it's going to take some serious spiritual work to get you there because it's not impossible. But most people don't want to do the work. They don't even want to do the work to get to 100K, let alone to get to $1 million by the end of the year, right? And so we want it to be achievable. A lot of times, and I'm going to have a heart-to-heart with you, a lot of times I see this in my clients. We purposely make these goals so big that we know we're never going to reach them. And so we give ourselves this leeway like, oh, you know what? I knew I was never going to make $1 million this year anyway, so it's okay that I didn't do it. Why do that to yourself? Why continuously disappoint yourself like that? If you knew you weren't going to make the $1 million, why even say that? Say what you actually knew you were going to make. Because maybe you saying that I wanted to make $500,000 this year would have actually drove you to do it and reach $499,000 this year. That's much more than probably what you're making, right? What you were making, or whatever the case is, whatever the number is, right? I'm just giving an example. And so make it achievable. Make it something exciting that you believe that you can do. If you don't believe that you're going to do it, it's not happening. It's not happening. Why even lie to yourself if you don't believe it? But if you believe, you know what? I'm already making 120K and I want to make 250K. It's not a big jump. Let's do it. Or I'm already making 250K. I'm ready for $500,000. Or I'm already making 80K. I'm ready to cross that 100K threshold. Those are achievable goals. Make sense? Okay, type in a 7 if that made sense. All right, those are achievable goals. Now, this is not me peeing on your dreams or anything like that, right? Raining on your parade or pooping in the party. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just allowing you to give yourself permission to be successful. That's all it is. Okay. Number R. Okay, R is relevant. Make it relevant. Don't just throw some goal out there and you have no business, no investments, nothing at all. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to go and go to the moon. What does that have to do with your life right now? Right? Okay. Make it relevant. Okay. And then time bound. T is for time bound. Time. Give yourself a time. By when? I'd like to start my investments by the end of the year. I'd like to start my investments before the holidays because I know I'm going to overspend on the holidays. So let me get them started now by the holidays. Or I want to make X, Y, and Z by June of next year. Or I want to get my first client by January of next year. Or I want to hit my income goal by December 31st of this year. Whatever it is, give yourself a deadline. When you give yourself a deadline, tomorrow actually is tomorrow versus tomorrow being never. How many times do we tell ourselves, oh yeah, one day I'll start investing. One day I'll call Kat. One day I'll slide into her DMs and ask her questions about investing. One day I'll make a decision and be disciplined to save enough to do X, Y, and Z. One day, and then one day becomes never. Never. One day becomes never, ever. Think about things that you said you were going to do 5 years ago. Think about things that you said you were going to do when you were in your 20s. Yeah. One day becomes never. And so the minute I hear my clients say one day, I'm like, I didn't hear it. What's one day? Where's that on the calendar? What day is that on the one day? Soon, later? I don't understand those. I pas comprendre. Pas comprendre so abdim lan du tout là. Pas comprendre anglais du tout. Right? Give me a date. What is the date? You cannot control the outcome, but you can control the effort. You cannot control the outcome, but you can control the effort. If you say you're going to do something, give yourself a date and put all your effort into getting it done by that date. Yes, life happens. Yes, there are going to be distractions. Yes, there are going to be things that stop you, things that you didn't even think about that come out of nowhere that you have to deal with that may mess around with the dates, but at least you put in that effort. I'm done. Okay, that's pretty much it. Or else I'm going to start preaching, okay? All right, so any questions? So today, let's recap. What did we talk about? We talked about assets. Assets are the building blocks of your portfolio. You want to grow your wealth, you add more assets. Number 2, we talked about risk management, right? The very definition of investing is taking on some sort of risk. And so we must ask ourselves, how much money am I willing to lose? And we must also diversify. Put our money in different types of assets so that when one asset is not making money, the others are picking up the slack. And number 3, we must set clear investment goals, not just financial freedom. We want to be smart with our goals. S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, T for time bound. Any questions? Let me read the chat real quick. Any questions? Okay, somebody said sabotage, 15K net. Okay, I will not overspend during holidays. Who is this? It says Facebook user. I'm not sure what your name is. I love it. I love it. Okay, beautiful. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone, thank you for watching. Okay, thank you for coming on. This is my passion. All right, this is my passion. This is what lights me up. This is what lights me up, okay? And so go ahead, everyone. At the end of the day, I come on these lives to pour into you. I come on these lives to give you the information that's going to give you a sense of direction. I come on these lives to make things clear for you so that you are empowered to make a decision, right? And some of you are going to take some of the information that I give on these lives and you're going to implement and you're going to get results. I've had people who built a $28,000 portfolio just from watching my lives. Now, that's not an invitation for you to go say, oh, well, forget Kat's programs and anybody else's programs. I could do this on my own. That's not what I'm saying to go do, because you could do that. Are you actually going to do it, though? I know myself. I haven't bought a course in all this year because I know I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to buy the course. I see it and I'm like, oh, $97. Oh, that's cheap. Oh, $197 for all of that. Okay, nice. Let me buy it. And then it just stays in my inbox. I never even open it. Right. And so I invite you all to actually speak to me, to ask me these questions and to hop on these calls because I want to help you. Right. Because I know you could do this on your own, but there's a reason why you're not. There's something blocking you. There's something that's not clear. There's something that you need a little push for. And that's what I'm here for. Okay. So go ahead, click on the link. I'm going to put it in. Okay. Click on the link below. Go ahead and book your free strategy session with me. Okay. We'll talk about what goes on in these free strategy sessions. Number one, we're going to get to know you. I'm going to get to know you because you're human. All right. You're human. You're not just a number. So I'm going to get to know you. And then you're going to tell me all about your goals, but we're not just going to talk about financial freedom. We're going to do SMART goals, and I'm going to walk you through with it. Some of this stuff, it's hard to think on your own. Sometimes you need someone to kind of help you brainstorm, okay? And so we're going to do that. I'm going to ask you, do you want a college fund for your kids? How much would you like to have for your kids? Would you like your kids to go to Harvard or community college? Okay, Harvard. Well, we need at least $50K a year. That means we need about $200K for your child. By the time that they're 18, they're 2, they've got 16 years to get there. Great, right? So we also talk about your retirement. What do you have? Do you have an old 401k, right? I even talk to you about, hey, Kat, I have an old 401k. I don't know where it is. I don't know what's going on with it. I even tell you how to go find out, how to go get it, right? Because guess what? I want you to go find money. I want to help you go find money so that you can start building your legacy. And if anything, you're going to tell your friends about me because, hey, at the end of the day, I'm running a business. Okay. So the more happy you are, the more happy you're going to talk. You're going to talk to all your friends. You're going to bring more people. And my business is going to be a platform to create more impact for our community, because this business should not just be about me. This business should be big enough to employ some of you in the group, to give some of your children opportunities, right? And so anyways, I don't even want to get into that, but I want you to find money. I'm going to help you find money, okay? And then number 3, or maybe you don't have any money out there. We just need to discuss. And then number 3, we'll talk about what is the next step for you, right? Do you need to go open an account? Do you need to clean up what you have? Do you need to go buy shares of this? Do you need to go buy that? We talk about all of these on the strategy session. So go ahead, click on it. They won't be available for very long, right? I was actually going to cut them off this month, but I was like, you know what? I actually enjoy them. I really, really do enjoy these. I love the shift that you all get when you get on these with me, okay? So go ahead and click on the link below. They're going to go away very soon because I don't have that type of time to be on the phone with 20 people a week, right? But they're still open for now because I am passionate about this. I want to make sure I help as many people until I get to that next level where you won't even see me most of the time. Okay. All right. So go ahead, book your session. Any questions? Hello. Any questions? All right, everyone. I went a little over time. Thank you for joining us, and I'll be back same time next week. Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.